Hello and welcome to Bladed Game Chats, the podcast where we talk about video games and try to figure out the meaning behind them. My name is Alex, and today I'm here with my girlfriend Sara, who I will be interviewing today.
Hi!
So, whether it be personal, philosophical, or logical reason, we offer an honest and thorough discussion of personal experiences playing video games firsthand. We want to create a space to appreciate games and converse about their contribution to the gaming industry and culture. If you are wondering what a video game is about or wanting a full deep dive conversation, we are here to help make decisions, review video games, and talk about what games mean to the people and how they inspire creativity in their own lives. Today, we are pointing our blade to Skyrim. The developer is Bethesda Game Studios. They are an American game developer, and the consoles that this game is available to play on is Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and PlayStation. So what was it like picking up the game for the first time? What were your first impressions or memories from your first playthrough?
I remember, the first time I picked it up, I was in GameStop. I was in middle school. I think I was like 12 years old at the time, maybe younger than that, but I was definitely in middle school. I picked it up at GameStop and I was with my dad and I was like, Dad, look at this. This looks so cool, because I remember it being the cover where it was a dragonborn and his back was turned to face you and it looked all kind of ominous. It looked really cool. It was just an iconic picture to me. He was like, oh, that does look really cool. He saw the rating on it, M for mature. And he was like, you know what? It's okay. The premise sounds fine. I think this is gonna be okay for you to play. So thankfully he let me play. And I remember just sitting there when I first got back from GameStop. I was sitting in my living room and I was just glued to the TV for hours. And my dad was like, this was probably the worst or best decision I ever made. Because it kept me busy, but I was glued to that screen for like hours at a time. The first time I played through it, I would have, I don't know, probably like 4 or 5 hour sessions, and I was like trying to get my homework done, and then immediately afterwards I wouldn't do the stuff that I would usually do, which is like, I don't know, go to my own devices and or play outside with my friends. It would be Skyrim. It would just be me trying to complete this huge hell of a game. And I remember not knowing what to do because of how open world it was. You could do whatever the heck you wanted. And me being a little kid, I just kept following through with the quest, so that's what I did for hours on end. I remember just having a blast and not being able to put it down until I finished it.
So what is the atmosphere like in this game?
It's very much... Okay, so I think the atmosphere changes a lot in the game. It depends on what you're doing, it depends on where you are, what quest you're doing. I don't know. I guess it's just a very fantasy-like world, because you're encountering all these different creatures that are obviously not real. I would compare it to like a dungeon crawler game, because that's how I usually like to play Skyrim. Recently now, I like to just go back into my old saves and dungeon crawl, and so that would just take me into that kind of barbaric atmosphere. But usually when I was just playing the game, whenever I play through it and I start over, it's just super surreal, kind of ethereal. It just kind of was immersive, and it was really, really cool, because you can get so many different outcomes with this game.
So you say like you start over, so how many times have you gone through the game in full?
Oh my god. That's gonna be kind of embarrassing. I don't know. I honestly have lost track. I think I've played it through at least 10 times before. I would play it differently each time, so the amount of time it would take me to get through a playthrough, like once I got it down, once I knew what I was doing, other playthroughs I would just mess around, I would just destroy everything, I don't know, and then I would go back to a different save and then actually go along with the story. Other playthroughs I would skip certain quest lines because I was like, no, I've done this too many times before. But officially, I've played through the game in its entirety. Like, I've done everything, I found everything, all the side quests, all the main quests. I've done that maybe 4 times, I would say. I think I'm on my 5th one. But I've played it through so many damn times. Yeah.
So with all of these different times that you've gone through it, you pretty much know everything in the game.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm wondering, like, do you have any personal, like, memories or epic moments you're reminded of?
Yeah, actually. When you've gone through the game so many times and you're trying to find so many different new things, the very last thing that I always get excited for is the Ebony Warrior. When you reach level 80, which takes a long time, by the way, I've only reached level 80 maybe 3 times in the decade that this game has been out. The Ebony Warrior only appears when you reach level 80 and I think it's when you've completed everything, like every main quest line in the game, and you're obviously decked out in like the best armor, best enchantments, best weapons, best skill sets, skill points, and you've reached like legendary status on all those skills. You meet this warrior who's like really tall. He's all decked out in ebony armor, and he also knows how to shout, which is another part of the game where, since you're dragonborn, you learn how to shout like the dragons, right? In their language, in their tongue. And so the fact that this other guy knows it, and you're like, it takes you aback. You're like, whoa, where did you learn how to do that? I thought I was the only one. Who are you? And so he like the Ebony Warrior explains himself. He's like, I've gone through all these quests in my lifetime, and you're the last one, and I want to die a warrior's death, so you have to kill me in battle. That quest is the most exciting thing because it is the hardest thing to do in the game, since he has all these amazing enchantments on his weapons, armor, and he knows how to shout. That is easily the hardest, most scariest part of the game. And each time I go through it, it's always a memorable experience because I've only ever done that a few times.
So if you were to go back in time, this is a little weird question, but if you were to go back in time and try to describe this game to your younger self, right, before they even found the game themselves, if you were to describe it to them, how would you?
How would I describe it to my younger self?
Because obviously this game is, like, it means a lot to you. And how would you start that addiction for your younger self?
How would I make myself addicted to this game? Okay, great. First of all, that would be hella weird. If I saw my older self like, who the heck are you? Oh, what were those books called? The adventure book where you get to
choose
pick
your own adventure.
Yeah, choose your own adventure. I would describe it like that because I used to read a ton of those books and I was obsessed with those books. But in video game form, you get to see all the visuals, you get to see the story play out, and there are so many different choices than a book could ever offer you. Like, I think that would like reel me in to Skyrim if I were to describe it like that to myself. I was so intrigued with Dragon Tales when I was younger. That got me hooked on dragons. So I liked dragons, and I saw Skyrim, and on the back there was a dragon on it. And the guy in the front of the cover had the horns, and he just looked so cool. And so I remember looking at the game and just thinking, damn, this is so cool. Obviously, I didn't know how to curse back then. But, like, I've always been intrigued by fantasy themes. It's a game that I think anyone can pick up. Like, there is no time constraint. You can easily just, like, wander around. You can frolic wherever you want. You might meet a giant along the way, but you can run away. It's fine. Like, you don't have to fight them. It's made its mark, essentially, in a lot of people. And it's so big now. I just really love it.
So, this comes to the end of the episode where we decide what we're going to score it as. So what would you rate it?
10, obviously.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I would have to also agree with you. This game is legendary. It redefines the genre, and it is marked in the history books. So if you made it this far into the podcast, thank you for listening. Thank you, Sarah, for coming onto the show and answering all of my lovely questions. And thank you so much for listening to Bladed Game Chats. Tune in next time where we point our blade to the next video game and find out what they mean to you. Bye!
Bye.